Hello, everybody. Welcome to another great episode of HazChat. I'm Bob Koscignano, one of your co-hosts with my cohort in crime, Mr. Derek Shaman. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. And thanks everyone for joining us for this episode, where hopefully we take you through a little bit of time where we break down real life scenarios and situations that can help you make your responses better.
Exactly. Um, Today's show is stacked. We've got Derek and I just did a hell of a road trip. Um, so we're gonna start off with that real quickly. He and I went to a hazmat academy. Well, we didn't go to. We taught it, presented it, however you want to put it. And in light of the delays and cancellations, and we don't have such a great history when it comes to travel in the airports anyway.
We
Um,
do not.
Derek called me. He says, "Hey, bro, what do you think about just driving? It's a 10-hour drive, but you know, it's cool. We could bond, little hazmat brotherhood and stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, it sounds cool." And for the record, 10 hours up, 10 hours back, in a week together. We're still best friends, for the record.
We are.
And I will say that our travel woes held true to form. 45 minutes into the damn drive, rock comes up and hits my windshield. So luckily, it was a little scrape. Um, I'm gonna reevaluate it later and see what happens. But other than that, I think that was really our only issue, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you handled it well. I mean, it was just like having a bird strike on a plane. Bob went all Sully Sullenberger there and uh, put us down in the Hudson as we pulled into the gas station to confirm that we were okay to continue on.
Oh my god, I was so pissed off I couldn't even see straight. Um, so anyway, so the Hazmat Academy, just kind of a little bit of what that is. It's kind of like it's a class obviously that we do at Hazmat 101 Consults. So you can hit us up if you want more information, but it goes over, first off, we tailor it to the department. We
Hmm.
have a set of objectives that we want to cover, and it's kind of like an assessment kind of thing as well. So if you're looking for that end of it, we can absolutely do that. But one of the good things about the Hazmat Academy is once we get to a location and we talk to them more in depth, we try to get as much information beforehand. But then we're like, hey, what do you guys really want? And they gave us some good suggestions, and we were able to, as we do, adapt and overcome. And it was great. The reviews were fantastic, which I'll be posting them on social media shortly. And I want to thank all those that were in attendance and participate. It was great, and they were great. So the hospitality was fantastic. So it was
Yeah.
awesome.
It was a great time, and the goal with it was to tailor it to the department's needs. Obviously, we come in with a framework in mind,
Right.
but being able to modify that framework to meet where they are, because every team's got different strengths, different capabilities, and not everyone does the same thing.
Yep.
So we do a questionnaire. Then when we get there, we continue to ask questions every single day to make sure that we were hitting what they had. So that was good. We had a great time, and like Bob said, awesome hospitality, awesome group of firefighters there. So we're going to talk about that, and then we'll also get into the big thing everyone's been seeing on social media. Obviously, the massive cargo ship fire out in California. Um, Bob and I are not shipborne firefighter
Nope.
hazmat technicians,
Nope.
but we'll hit on it a little bit and just talk about it from our Florida boy landlocked perspective on what we think about that situation.
I have been on a few cruise ships, but it's not the same. It's not even
Yeah,
close to the
fortunately, none of
same.
them caught fire.
Right. So yeah, and we'll wrap things up with HazChat year in review. Some of the episodes, the growth of the show, what listeners responded to the most, and what we're going to be doing next. We've got a lot going on. We're still plugging away. The year's not over yet. So there you go.
Yep. And before we get into that, let's Bob, can you roll that sponsor film?
Oh, the sponsor film. Absolutely. Let's do it. Hey, HazChat listeners, looking to boost your skills? Check out respondertraining.com. They've got top-notch responder training and essential tools like their 1-inch propane and CNG flare-off kits. water injection tools, and much more. Train smart, stay safe, and excel in the field. That's respondertraining.com. Enhance your hazmat training with Signal, the most realistic gas detection training on the market. For under $100, you can simulate any detection combination from handheld meters to fixed location monitors, and even confined space scenarios with their universal pump attachment. Signal delivers unlimited range and detector combinations trusted by top teams around the world. Visit signalapp.com or download the app now. Signal, unlimited range, unlimited possibilities. In Our Gear products, built by first responders for first responders. In Our Gear delivers innovative, field-tested tools for every level of hazmat response. The ZMAT card empowers ops-level responders to set the initial tone with quick, easy-to-use hazard identification. The R-Claw line boosts efficiency for technicians in the hot zone, and the WIMS board enhances command competence from behind the steering wheel. Trust in Our Gear, where reliability meets response. InOurGear.net. And we're back, movie magic. So there you go. All right. So one of the things that we had already mentioned the HazMat Academy, but something too is that when you do some of these things, we try to look at, as Derek mentioned, and we kind of hit a lot of topics already, but when we do these HazMat Academies, we want to make sure that it's a full HazMat Academy circle. So it's like, it's kind of like the crawl, walk, run method. And what it does, especially as Derek talked about, once we talk to these people and we find exactly what they're wanting in and dialed in. I mean, we did chemistry, we did air monitoring, we did grounding and bonding, we did all kinds of stuff. And we had one of the strongest groups ever, and it was fantastic. And to watch everybody come together was just huge.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, it's a 5-day program, and these guys came ready. They came ready to learn from the time they walked in the room. Everyone's had different experiences with whether you're in a class or you've been presenting something or teaching something. You always have the people who are down front and ready to go, the people who are in the back and ready to check out. And I have to say that our back corner was highly in tune to the class.
They
And
were dialed in.
Yeah, solid questions all around. Great group, eager to learn. And the great thing is when Bob and I present, we like or teach anything, we don't want to lecture. We want to have an interactive back and forth. And sometimes it gets awkward. You ask a question, no one answers. These guys were jumping in, answering questions, but the most important thing is they were asking questions. They were identifying areas that they wanted more info, and they asked questions. And it was great. Everyone jumped in, and then we broke into teams. They all worked together great, even though it was representation of, I believe, 3 different agencies there, and they all worked together great.
Yeah, they did fantastic. So we kind of hit a lot of it. One of the things too is, how does the meter work, right? And how do you apply it on scene?
Yeah, so the big thing, and like we say it with whether it's meters or PPE, anyone can turn on a meter, anyone can put on a suit. The difference in a technician is knowing, how does the tool actually operate? What is it telling me? And more importantly, what is it not telling me? So the air monitoring, the detection, that's going to drive PPE. It's going to drive tactics. It's going to drive decon, all those things. So getting crews downrange, doing those recons, getting quick information, and adjusting on the fly based off the feedback you're getting from your devices, that's what makes someone a competent hazmat technician. I could turn the device on, hand it to someone, and say, hey, if this beeps or if you hit these numbers, let me know. At that point, that person is literally just a living, breathing meter.
Right.
They're not actually making critical decisions. You need people behind those devices making critical decisions, and that's what we got with the guys that we were teaching this week. And I think that it opened some eyes and made them appreciate what their devices do and don't do.
Oh yeah, and this group got that immediately. You could see the light bulbs going off when we ran scenarios. They did a fantastic job, and then the classification hazard indicators.
Yeah, so everything with that comes down to what have we covered in previous technician classes with chemical and physical properties? Did you actually understand how those worked? What was it taught as a isolated box of information, or how did it actually work? And then going into those presumptive workflows for identification.
Yeah, and we've got it's not just the fancy tools, but there's some basics. We've got some charts that we made that we use, especially during the wet chemistry class. And the clues right in front of you, the container shape, labeling, and all that is critical information. We start the class off with that, trying to, let's just dust off the cobwebs. If you had this kind of drone, what do you think might be in it, so on and so forth. And then when we got into the wet chemistry part, is them actually doing samples and putting it to test using the chart system that Derek and I developed, and it really brings everything home to try to figure out what that unknown, so to speak, is. And I hate using the term unknown. Unknown chemical, but because we know it's what, Derek? Solid, liquid, or
We
gas.
have a state of matter.
We a
It's a
state of
solid, it's a
matter.
liquid, it's a gas.
I'm not
We
kidding. I'm
we
not going to get on the soapbox. I always get on. I'll stop
the
now.
unknown would be like you've gone blindfolded to the scene. If that's happening, then someone's playing a cruel joke on you. You're
Right.
gonna know something. Someone had to call you. Somehow you had to get there. So you have to know something about it.
Something.
And these guys got in there. They rolled their sleeves up. They got into the presumptive identification and classification. And again, the big thing for us is we don't have to know exactly what something is. We're just trying to get it down into a family. We're trying to say, hey, this is the class it falls into. So then I can proceed from there. If I can get identification, fantastic. I can use the SDSs or any of the other information from
Yep.
personnel on scene that can tell me, hey, this is what we have. And then I can narrow it down that way. But at the very minimum, if I can get it down to a hazard class, that's really my goal. And they did a great job of understanding how, whether it's sampling, detection, or just sizing up containers, that drives where you're going to go with that, how you're going to kind of make that determination as to what is my problem and how am I going to fix it? Because essentially that's what we're here for. What is my
Right.
problem and how are we going to fix it? And how can I do this in a reasonable amount of time?
Right. Right. Yeah, that wet chemistry portion was fun to watch. The group wasn't afraid to roll up their sleeves and get right into it. So that was great.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a methodical process. So for some of them, it was new. It was a critical thinking component that they had to look at, and showing them it's not just about what does an indicator paper show. It's okay. Well, how does that relate to what the other paper showed, what your air monitoring equipment showed, all those things, and how it's not individual devices and tools. It's a suite of identification and classification technology that you're using the information you're getting, putting it together and going, okay, if this, then that. And they did a great job.
Yeah, they were not afraid to slow things down. Now, let me back up. We don't pump the brakes. We tap the brakes on occasion. But they weren't afraid to slow things down and reduce some steps and to get it right, and that's key.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we did hydrocarbon. We talked about hydrocarbon control and decon, and they actually had a really good grasp on that, which makes sense. You should, as a hazmat responder, you should have a good grasp on hydrocarbons because
Right.
that's the majority of the hazmat responses we go to are hydrocarbon spills or releases.
Yeah.
And the important thing is not knowing just what we're going to do. Why do we do it?
Right. Exactly. And then the decon flow setup was another standout. They moved quickly, communicated well. They even set up a clean hybrid lane without wasting any time. So we went over the whole hybrid decon process, and we had some props for that. So they did a fabulous job.
Yeah, and we gave them a scenario that caused them to have to start with one form of decon and evolve and adapt as they went through the scenario. And I believe we actually had three different types of decon that were being performed during that
Yep.
scenario
Yep.
as it went through, and that's reality. you're going to start with one thing and you may end up somewhere else. Don't get locked into that concept. So, that was one of the things that they asked us for was a little bit of more understanding of decon, and I hope that we brought it to them. I think that we did.
Yeah.
They seemed to get it, and it seemed to work really well.
Yeah. Even when the rain started.
Yeah, yeah. We So you know what? There we go. Fourth form of decon, nature. Nature performed a gross
Nature.
decon for
Nature
us.
did indeed perform a gross decon for just a little bit, but we kept going.
Uh,
You're not going to just, when you're doing a hazmat scene, you're just going to go, oh, I'm going to throw a flag. We got a timeout. We got to wait till the rain stops. You got to keep
yeah,
going.
yeah.
So, uh,
And then of course the driving factor of all this was getting them comfortable with rapid recon. It's like we were telling them, if you're on scene for an extended period of time and you don't have any new intel other than what you first came there with, you're not an emergency responder.
right.
Um, you need to get downrange. It's no different than a fire or a trauma call or anything like that. You got to figure out what's going on so you can make a plan of action. So sitting around waiting for the information to come to you isn't going to solve anything. So we showed them some techniques to get down there, and they showed us some stuff that they do, and they actually had a really good system set up for how they want to go, and then we put it in practice. And we did show that the theory of rapid recon is different than the practice of rapid recon. The reality is different,
Yep.
and we had some opportunities to bring attention to some blind spots, and it was a great learning opportunity for them. And with any class that we teach, we always learn something too.
Oh yeah.
We bring something back.
Yeah. And we, after every day, Derek and I go back to the hotel and may or may not pour a beverage and kind of do our own little hot wash, which, if you're an instructor out there, and you don't do that, I highly recommend it because it's only going to make you and your class better. But, because it ties everything together, size up, routing, hazard ID meter, placement, communication, and they crushed all of it. They did, and this is a small team. I mean, these guys, what was it, Derek? They had 7 or 8, I think, total on shift. And they
Yeah.
have other departments, that can assist them, but it's a small team, small department. And Derek and I come from a big department with lots of people. I mean, we got more people than we can shake a stick at sometimes. Sometimes that's not good. So these
hmm
guys did a great job, especially with the reduced numbers that they have.
Yeah. Yeah. And it it's always impressive to see how other parts of the country, how other departments do things, because like Bob said, we come from a big department. In the grand scheme of things, I mean, there are departments out there that would make us look small. So the scalability of hazmat is the strength of it. The
Hmm.
fact that there's a methodical approach, there's a framework that's set out. So it shouldn't matter if you're an agency that's responding with 8 technicians or an agency that's responding with 80 technicians. It's all about plugging people into that workflow and getting the task done. And when we were there and had 3 different agencies represented and watched the guys work together seamlessly,
Yep.
that to me, that was money, because I've experienced and we've seen sometimes that isn't how it always works.
Right.
And it's not that anyone's good guys or bad guys or better or this, but sometimes there's different approaches. And in the world of hazmat, it should be the same. The
Yep.
devices all work the same. The approaches are pretty much going to be the same. Like the chemical presenting itself does not alter its chemical or physical properties. Your devices do not change the way in which they function based off of a patch or a sticker on a truck.
Very
So our
true.
approaches to these things should be methodical and realistically with a few tweaks here and there because of obviously staffing and things like that. We should all be doing it kind of the same.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And if you're listening and thinking about sending people to the next one, do it. This is the kind of training your department will feel immediately. They immediately are like, "Thank you." We're going to implement this. We're going to implement that, and that's what it's all about. So, all right.
Yeah.
Speaking of training, meeting real world challenges. So let's go.
So, with any training, the goal is to meet real world challenges. So we're going to do that with a little look at this monstrous ship fire in California. Something
Right.
that makes me glad that I am in Central Florida and don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, yeah. By now, everybody's seen the video that I'm showing on the screen right now. For those of you listening, not watching, this is the California cargo ship fire down over in Long Beach that happened recently, and a massive incident, multi-day Marine hazmat event.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about everything. Obviously, you have fire, you got hazardous cargo. I'm sure that is identified as part of that. You got unknown cargo, the different atmospheric hazards that are presented. The you're on water,
Yeah,
so you have those concerns to take into consideration, and then stability issues. I mean,
right.
those cargo containers, the way that they're placed on there, you start having issues with heat and distortion and weakening of the steel. That is a very precarious position to be in, and hats off to the people who do that shipboard firefighting and especially container ship stuff, because that's, I don't even know how you would address that.
Yeah. And the biggest factor is early on unknowns, what's in those containers, what's below deck, what chemicals are burning. And I've done a little more research and
Mm.
so far, and all this is unconfirmed. So don't hold me to it. That they think it started in an electrical area somewhere below deck. The fire spread, possibly spread to some things that had some lithium batteries, some other unknown chemicals. They issued a defend in place kind of order. Everybody remain indoors, and eventually they ended up towing it out to sea. And I did hear one confirmation that no everybody was to be on SCBA and nobody was to go below deck. So that's
Mhm.
cool. That good job for the instant commanders recognizing that. I hate to say it, but they've had a few of these in that area over the years, so I'm sure they got a pretty dialed in plan.
Yeah, yeah. It's getting to these, being familiar with the layouts of ships, the operations. Again, hats off. It's a whole different discipline, but you got to get access to that manifest. Hope that it's accurate.
Mhm.
Um, those containers, like we said, you have to think about the fact that things may shift. Labels that may have been on containers are going to be either hard to read or completely gone. And the reality that we all know is sometimes what's listed on a container is not what's coming in. There's a lot of contraband that gets brought in, smuggled in containers. So you have a lot of variables there that I don't think you have at most of our hazmat scenes, just because of overall volume of products there and configuration and access to those different containers. That's definitely an interesting one. I'd love to hear from someone that has experience with this type of stuff.
Yeah, so if somebody's there or has been there or whatever, uh, get a hold of us, Bob at hazmat101consultants.com. We'd love to talk to you more about it, and maybe bring you on the show in the future to go over what happened and what worked. But the atmospheric conditions, confined marine spaces. I just those words together give me the goosebumps. Uh, these conditions get ugly fast. Oxygen displacement, flammable pockets, toxic buildup. I mean, God.
Yeah, and like with all of our hazmat calls, you're monitoring constantly. It's not a once or twice, let's check it, let's get a couple of readings. This is an ongoing operation, and the scale of this puts even more emphasis on that it has to be continuous air monitoring, but you're also deploying your area monitoring systems, because this is a big incident. You've got the potential for this to grow beyond what you're seeing right now. And you have to anticipate, where is this going to be an hour from now? Where is it going to be 2 hours from now, 10 hours from now? I mean, something like this is not being taken care of quickly. So you have to get ahead of it, or else you're always going to be chasing it.
Yeah, and with marine type fires, you get many challenges. A fire attack on the ship is already tough. Then you add hazmat, and you've got a nightmare situation going on.
Yeah, and not even taking into consideration the fuel load of the ship itself. Um,
Yeah,
is the ship going to sink? Is something structurally going to happen that the
right.
ship is going to sink? And then where are you? Are you in narrow hallways? Are you near bulkheads that are buckling? Um, you got limited access points. So, as much as it's how do I get to the problem, how do I get away when things go bad? How quickly can I make egress from this ship? That would be a whole nother aspect of it too. Once you start trying to work into those areas, you have to think about, if things go wrong, what do we do?
Yeah, and then you got the interagency coordination. I mean, one thing that impressed me was the interagency coordination with the local, state, federal, and then you got the Coast Guard involved. Everybody's working, their piece of the puzzle, but in a unified way. So there's a lot of pieces, parts going on here. Just not only the command aspect, but then from the firefighting and hazmat aspect as well.
Yeah, I know. I've talked to some people that were at Port of Tampa, and they talk about, they have good relationships between the fire department, the Coast Guard, the Port Authority, because all that has to come together. If it doesn't, then you shouldn't be butting heads or having different approaches. It needs to be disciplined, or else this whole thing can spiral out of control even faster than the incident's evolving.
Right, and I don't want to say these are lessons learned yet because obviously we don't have any lessons learned for this situation. But for listeners out there, here's some big takeaways. You obviously got to do continuous air monitoring, strong command discipline, accurate, timely communication, respect for confined space, marine confined spaces, and understand the cargo uncertainty. Like Derek said, we don't know what's going on with this. How is it? Is are the containers moving to one side or the other? I mean, there's just a lot of potential life-threatening hazards here.
Yeah, and hazmat, it happens everywhere. It can be a marine setting like this, your rail yards, highway, your airports, just things that maybe we don't think about. And if those things are in your first due or in your region that you would respond to, having some familiarity with it, knowing who those SMEs are that you can rely on to get some more detail as to how you
Mm,
would approach that, we got to think bigger. We can't think about what's in front of me right now. We have to look at, hey, what if we had an issue at an airport? Um, we all practice, for anyone that's got an airport, you always practice for, our firefighting skills and things like
right.
that. And usually that's segmented and given to the airport authority or whatever department handles that. But when you have something like the unfortunate tragedy that happened with the UPS plane,
Oh yeah.
my understanding is that extended a mile off airport property. Their resources are going to be taxed. Do our structural firefighters have enough confidence and familiarity with the challenges that would be
Yep.
presented by those fuel loads and all the other things? It's we have to, as emergency responders, think about the emergencies, not the everyday bread and butter things. We're good with those. We have to think about the what ifs. The what ifs are going to be the ones that are going to give us the biggest headaches.
Yeah, and thinking bigger brings us to our final segment for today, and we're going to be talking about some hazmat in review. Year in review.
Mm. So a little recap of our fantastic episodes and hazmats and all these things.
Yep, this year was huge, huge one for HazChat. Our listener base grew. uh, I don't even know how many times. So we appreciate everybody that listened, watched, whatever, and it definitely expanded our episodes. We got more listener engagement than ever, and it was great.
Yeah, and that's huge for us because when we get messages, the questions that get asked, scenarios that get sent to us, it just makes the show better. Otherwise, there's those times that Bob and we might sit there and think, is this just the two of us in offices just talking into to microphones and looking at cameras and hello, is there anybody out there? It's not interactive in that sense. So when people leave us comments, when they send us Facebook messages, when they text us, whatever,
Yeah,
that lets us know that hey, someone's listening. And then when we see, oh look, it's popped up in another country somewhere.
yeah,
And oh look, we've got multiple views in that country. That tells us people are sharing it, which that makes the time that we spend doing these worth it. It's awesome because we at least feel like we're getting a connection. Maybe you find things that we mess up. Hey, drop us a line. Tell us that we got something wrong.
yeah.
We would love to hear that.
Right.
And if you're ever interested in coming on, if you got something to share, let us know. We'd love to have guests on too.
And for the record, I'm never telling my wife I'm wrong. don't care what anybody says. Some
But
of
I'll
the
still
most,
tell you.
so I know, right? Some of the most downloaded episodes this year included strategy and Texas air monitoring, WMD technician refresher topics, gas emergencies, that first due operations level responder, that first engine and truck, decon decision making, and then of course, the big one everybody wants to talk about, lithium ion battery response.
Yeah, and the reality is our focus here is real world situations, things that actually matter to you, not fluff. So we try to keep it to real tactics, real problems, and lessons learned, solutions, those things. So hopefully you guys appreciate it. And like we said, always we're looking for feedback. Give us feedback.
Yeah, we've had firefighters, hazmat team, emergency managers, even industrial folks turning in, so we really appreciate it.
Yeah. And there's always something from an episode that someone can usually relate to, a similar call that they had. So that's cool. It's we do a lot of the same things. It's just different settings.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Yep. Next year we're gonna be dialing it up again. More case studies, more deep dives, more training focused episodes.
yeah, and maybe we'll do some more of our interview series and bring in some people who they were there, they did it. That's what we want to do. We want to bring to you something where someone can give us some great insight to some significant incidents, things that maybe you don't have any experience with, and someone can share that information with you.
Yeah, and before we head out, just a quick reminder to everybody, make sure you go to our social media pages, our Facebook page, obviously our HazChat series, which is on YouTube. It's actually on all the platforms, so you can listen on those or watch it on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as I mentioned before, the book finally came out, so please check it out. Be happy to show you, let you read some lessons learned from other people and from myself, and then some social media pages. As I mentioned, our pages, the Hazmat Guys Roundtable, first Tuesday of every month, 8 p.m. Eastern. Myself, Bobby Salvesen, Mike Monaco, Jeff Seintek do a live show. Hazmat Group 2. We are proud to say we're well over 10,000 members on that Facebook page. So thank you very much, Hazmat Group and Common Sense Hazmat. All great places for you to check stuff out. And, you know, that's what we do. So,
Yeah, geez, look at that thing burn.
yeah, right?
Yeah, but as we're wrapping up the year here, just want to reiterate, huge thank you to those of you that follow us, that share the content, that download it, that like it. It makes it worth doing, and we appreciate you.
Yep, we do appreciate you. Stay safe, train hard. Remember, when you're through learning, you're through. We'll see you.